Couldn't find my hat this morning. I don't know where it is. Whoa! Some just smashed my hopper. Oh, it's a big brown. Oh my gosh. That's sick. Yes. Oh, yes. Fatty. He just crushed that hopper. All right, in the search for some water that's actually fishable, we're getting creative today. We're doing a little what you'd call blue lining. Found this stream up in the mountains. It's pretty small, the water looks great, but definitely gonna try something new today. We're gonna do some dry dropper, just a good old Harvey leader with dry dropper. I got an ant, bionic ant up on the point, and thread Frenchie down on the dropper, so we'll see how this goes. Part of what's unusual too is we're getting here later in the afternoon. Instead of starting first thing in the light, we're gonna fish the evening, get some dry fly action going hopefully, and then we'll be here overnight. We're gonna do some truck camping, and then we'll fish the morning, and then head home. Just a quick, short little trip. I think I might need to shorten up my leader. It's about 10 feet or like 12 feet long. I don't think I need it to be that long. This water's very off-colored, so I don't feel like I need to really fish from super far away. But my dropper is about 2 feet below the dry fly. A lot of people camping. Oop, somebody going for the dry fly. Nice. Yeah, I need to shorten up this leader. This is ridiculous. Okay, now I'm about 10 feet long. I think I was like 14 or 15 feet long before. It was hard to manage. So I may make it shorter yet. See how this feels. There we go, fish on. Got him on the dropper. Feels like a decent fish. Sick. Little brown trout. Beautiful little male. It's been a while since I've caught a brown. Sweet. Well, I think that might be my official first fish on a dry dropper rig. See if I can pull one to get that dry fly next time. I did get an eat on him, but on the dry fly, nothing. He didn't get it in his mouth or something. Didn't hook up all the way. Oop, mud right there. That was a good one. Nice. Little rainbow. Nice. I thought this was mostly brown trout in here. Ooh. That one took the top fly, but he didn't need it. Oop. Little tiny one. That's probably who tried to get my dry fly. Little tiny rainbow. Trying to get along the banks here. There was one. Oh, geez. On the dry fly. Finally. Oh, that's sweet. Finally got one to get the fly all the way in its mouth. Well, good morning. It is day 2. Had a good night's sleep in the truck. And we made kind of an interesting discovery last night. We were just, realizing how not cold the water was. So I took a temp and it was 67 degrees, which is right at the limit and really surprising. Like, this is springtime. You'd think this would be full of snow melt. And the water's really warm. So we're like, well, maybe in the morning the water temps will be cool off. And sure enough, this morning the water's 55 degrees, which is much better. Well, I'm hoping the fishing will be better today, because this time last year we fished here and we killed it. Like, caught tons and tons and tons and tons of fish. So the salmon flies are hatching, which is awesome. But there's lots of stuff in the water. Checked a few rocks and there was some October caddis nymphs, which are those huge cream colored ones. So I put on a mop fly, something I don't think I've ever caught a fish on. Somebody, oh, there's a fish on the mop fly. I had one on the mop fly. I only have one, so I'm sorry. Well, that's crazy. Never hooked a fish with a mop fly. But yeah, those October caddis are these huge, like inch-long, fat, cream-colored caddis, and their heads and legs are sticking out the end of their casings. Big, meaty flies. So, that's interesting. But I switched to a hopper this morning because I wanted to fish some bigger nymphs, float them a little better. There are salmon flies flying around. This isn't the right color for a salmon fly, but it's the right profile. Well, they're in here. Can't keep them pinned on this hook, apparently. Alright, give this a shot under the bridge here. Switched off the mop fly to a Duracell because I had 2 fish on and they both came off. The fly somebody tied for me and I don't know what kind of hook it is, or I'm not used to it or something. It's usually a sign that I don't know, don't feel confident in that. Couldn't find my hat this morning. I don't know where it is. A little annoying. Whoa! Some just smashed my hopper. That was awesome. Oh, yes. Oh, it's a big brown. Oh my god, that's sick. Kind of cool over here in the sun. Yes. Oh yes, fatty. He just crushed that hopper. I hope you guys can see that on camera. Oh baby. Let's see how big this guy is. 15-inch brown trout. That's pretty good for this creek. Oh, isn't he beautiful? Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you guys are having some good fishing despite the high flows we've been having here on the West Coast. But I had to go high, I had to go find a small stream to find some fish, and it was a really super fun trip. It's pretty much the perfect stream. The banks were wide open, so there was plenty of room to cast. There weren't a lot of trees to deal with. The stream was small enough that you can wade easily, but it's big enough that it holds some nice fish, as you saw there at the end. I wanted to do dry dropper. That was kind of my plan going in. I wanted to do something a little different. Last time I had nymphed it and I did pretty well, got everything on the bottom, but I'm like, why? This water's pretty even depth. Might as well try a dry dropper to see if I can get anybody to come up. And yes, they came up. As you saw, most of the time I had an ant up on the dry, and then on the point I changed it, but most of the time I had a thread Frenchie on and it did most of the work. Though some of those small rainbows, they were trying to eat that ant, but they just couldn't quite connect with it. And I only hooked that one that I managed to helicopter around the back. But the fish were definitely looking up. They were looking for terrestrials, so that was a super bonus. As far as the hatches go, there was all kinds of stuff. There were midges, there were some PMD small ones and large ones, and there was, of course, as you saw, there were some salmon flies coming off. And yes, they were landing on the water, laying eggs, so the fish were looking up for big bucks. I didn't have a chubby in my box or anything that kind of mimics a salmon fly, so I just put on a large hopper. It was kind of a tan and green color bodied hopper. But it had a similar size and profile to what was landing on the water, and that did the trick. I basically floated it in some dead water under that bridge next to the swift water, and I had that huge brown come up and snatch it right off the surface. It was so exciting. I mean, none of that you saw in the video was put on for just the video. Those were my legit reactions because, frankly, I don't think I've ever really caught a fish on a big hopper like that. And it was super fun. And I think it's pretty safe to say that anybody who gets a brown to smash a big giant dry fly like that never comes back and says, nah, I don't ever want to do that again, right? So yeah, I'm hooked. I want to try that again. I want to find streams where I can do more dry dropper, or some of those high mountain grassy meadowy streams where there's a lot of grass on the side and wind to knock the hoppers and terrestrials down into the water, because they're super fun to fish those. It's one of my first overnight fishing trips where we slept in the truck. That's something that I've sort of evolving. As you may have noticed, I got a new truck. It's set up to sleep in the back. I'm going to do a full truck tour video eventually, but we're just dialing in the system. I want to get it sort of dialed in before I do that so that, I can present, this is what's working for us. But basically, we're sleeping on a 4-inch memory foam mattress on top of the decked drawer system, and I'm pretty much sleeping like a dream. I mean, I'm sleeping almost as well, if not better than home. You stay warm, it's comfortable, it's soft, and sleeping well overnight is super nice. And just the privilege of being able to roll up, basically pull your chairs out, cook some food, and then sleep inside the truck, it's super convenient. So I'm definitely going to see a lot more overnight trips going forward in the future. But thanks everybody so much for watching the video all the way to the end. I try to do a value for value kind of model with this channel, meaning if I brought you value with this video, that maybe you can also financially support me in some number of ways to keep it going. So the obvious things are at driftstone.co. You can pick up flies hand-tied by me, or I've got a number of products like things like hooks, beads for tying flies, and a number of products for tying flies. That all is very obvious, but you can also become a channel member and get extra perks and different things, extra access to me. If you have any questions or things like that, you can sign up and become a channel member. And those are all great ways that you can help support me and keep the channel growing. And because this is my full-time job, I do this for a living, and every little bit of support helps. So I appreciate every single one of you. And if you can't afford to financially support me, that's great. All you got to do is like the video, subscribe, and share the channel with other fly fishermen. That means the world to me, and that helps a ton as well. So thanks again, everybody. Until next time, everyone, I'll see you on the water. Godspeed.